Since we are all talking about freshly cooked meals and patriarchy in the kitchen, I have a good one. Did you know that our insistence on having freshly made rice every single day is leading us to develop or worsen our diabetes? My name is Shrishti Sharma. I'm a board certified preventive medicine physician, and I am here to talk about all things prevention, all things screening, and all things health. For health reasons, I'm always looking at the glycemic index of food. As an Asian and as a Northeast Indian, my diet is very heavy on rice, which is why the glycemic index of rice is of special interest to me. Now, what exactly is glycemic index? You can think of glycemic index as type of a scale that measures how a carbohydrate containing food raises the blood sugar level. Foods with higher glycemic index raises the blood sugar levels higher and faster than food that is lower in glycemic index. Low glycemic foods help you feel fuller for a longer time after eating a meal. It helps you maintain or lose weight, and it can help in prevention of diseases like diabetes or heart diseases or stroke. There's a whole range of food with low glycemic index, and I won't go into too much details, but this can include food like green vegetables, sweet potato, parboiled rice, low fat milk that is 1% or lower, low fat milk products, and all of those. If you're on a journey to watch what you're eating and prevent diseases like diabetes or heart conditions or stroke, then you want your diet to be primarily a low glycemic index diet or a low GI diet. Today, though, let's focus on rice. Glycemic index of rice, that is the ability of rice to raise your blood sugar levels, can vary from low to high. Rice like parboiled rice eaten in moderate amount have low glycemic index and can be good for your diet. Rice like basmati rice, brown rice, white rice, which can be long or short grain, as well as wild rice, have medium glycemic index and should be eaten in moderation. And finally, rice like jasmine rice, instant white rice, and sticky rice are really high in glycemic index and should really be avoided unless you're eating it for a special occasion once in a while. Yeah, all that is good, but how does eating fresh meals actually affect the glycemic index of rice? The glycemic index of rice, that is the ability of rice to raise your blood sugar level, is most strongly influenced by carbohydrates, which in rice is present as starch. Carbohydrates in rice are present as semi-crystals around the rice. Now, when rice is boiled, these crystals break down and it makes the starch in the rice more available for the body to absorb and then increase the blood sugar levels. Now, what happens when you cool the rice down is some of the starch in that rice retrogrades and it becomes resistant to digestion, thus, the body is not able to absorb it. In fact, some studies have shown that when white rice is cooled to room temperature for about 10 hours, the amount of resistant starch in that rice doubles. And when the same rice is placed in the fridge at around 4 degrees Celsius and then reheated, the amount of resistant starch still remains high and it's almost triple of that compared to freshly cooked rice. Further, the effects of eating this cooled rice have been tested on people without diabetes versus people who have type 1 diabetes and people who have type 2 diabetes. And in all three instances, it has been shown that cooled rice, even when it's cooled and reheated, has raised the blood sugar levels to a much lower degree in all these three groups. So, how would you prepare this cooled rice? Simple. Cook the rice like you normally would. Leave it outside until it comes to room temperature and then immediately stick it into the fridge for 12 hours or longer if you can. When it's time to eat it, just take it out, reheat, and eat it as you normally would. But remember, cooling rice and reheating it before you eat it is a good strategy to lower the glycemic index of rice. But at the end of the day, rice is still a carbohydrate. So if you're watching your carbs or if you're diabetic, then you still want to moderate the amount of rice that you eat. Like with all things nutrition, you do want to continue eating a balanced diet. Oh, I do have one major health warning. Leaving rice outside at room temperature for very long periods can lead to growth of a bacteria called Bacillus cereus, which, if taken, can cause very severe food poisoning. Infection with Bacillus cereus can cause very severe nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps, and this can be especially dangerous for individuals who are at higher risks, like children or older individuals. There's a very popular misconception that if you heat your rice high enough or long enough, then you will not get food poisoning. That is not true. If you have left your rice outside for a long time and the Bacillus cereus, that is the bacteria, has started growing in the rice, it releases some toxins. When you reheat your rice, the bacteria itself may die, but heat does not destroy these toxins. It is the toxins that cause the symptoms of food poisoning, not the bacteria itself. No amount of reheating can destroy these toxins and avoid food poisoning. So remember to put your rice in the fridge as soon as it reaches room temperature to avoid formation of these toxins. So to summarize, eating freshly cooked rice could be contributing to spikes in blood sugar level immediately after a meal. One way to avoid this is to cook your rice, cool it down to room temperature, stick it in the fridge, and maybe eat it 12 to 24 hours later. You can reheat the rice, of course. Having said that, be careful when you're cooling your rice down and make sure you don't leave it out at room temperature for too long so that you do not get food poisoning later. And with that, I hope you continue to prevent, screen, and stay healthy. Thanks for watching.